All right. We live now. Facebook, what's going on, people? We're here talking about what's going on with our neighbors in Forest Cove. Forest Cove apartment was formerly Four Seasons. I got sister Nay with me, who's very educated on what's going on. She's been in the fight, and she's also a resident of the District 1 Thomasville area. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sister Nay.
Hi, my original name is Sanathia Perkins, aka Nay. Been staying in Thomasville Heights for about 10 years now, and I am definitely an advocate for Forest Cove.
100, 100. Um, so yesterday I told you I had talked with Poochie, brother Lemuel fell, and Poochie said that a good thing for the residents of Forest Cove to do, since they are telling them they have to be out by next month on the 15th, and there's no housing. Correct? There's no housing yet for to place the 212 families, right?
Not that I know of, I think they was told that they will get vouchers that will cover the housing.
Vouchers and no placement, no place or residence where they can use these vouchers.
No.
And we know how scarce that is. You know how long it take to use a voucher. If you can even, you know what I'm saying, have the opportunity to even get your voucher accepted by housing in the metro Atlanta area. So we know how that play out. So what brother Fal was saying is that they should do a class action suit. And you know, when he said that, I didn't think about nothing like that. But when he said it, it kind of, you know what I'm saying, set some alarms off in my head. Like, that's a good idea. Then I was saying to him, like, well, why don't we, you know, get involved in it, kind of help them along to put that bug in their ear and then to be what they need to get that, you know what I'm saying, started to make that a reality. So I reached out to a great advocate and activist, brother Ed Williams out of Decatur. He's the one who fought against MARTA to get the buses started back when they legally stopped the buses during the coronavirus pandemic. And he said one of his suggestions was to start a petition. You know, he gave me legal advice on how to do, you know what I'm saying, the proper way to do the class action, to how to help the people, you know, to do the class action. But he also said, well, why don't you start a petition, you know, for the people?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How so, you know, I just jumped on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's a great idea. You know,
Right.
yesterday we started a petition. I think now we at like, we may have 18 people, you know what I'm saying? So we want to keep, you know, pushing them numbers out and getting them numbers up. But one of the problems is what the people saying is, well, don't the mayor have that cover? You know,
No.
yeah, they're gonna get. I don't know why we so quick to trust elected officials. I don't know what it is about us. Even when we done seen, you know, the effects of trusting elected officials, from Maynard Jackson with the Olympics when we got pushed
Yeah.
out. You know, all the housing projects got closed down. It was promised that we would be able to come back and live
Yep.
in housing after years of fighting for decent apartments and decent living.
Mm-hmm.
What Maynard Jackson used was, and Atlanta Housing, what they said was, well, we're gonna shut down these apartments and rebuild them, remodel them. Y'all can come back. But then when the apartments got rebuilt, only a few could come back. You know what I'm saying? Most people left out homeless. So I don't understand why we don't realize that. You know what I'm saying? Why we don't remember
Yes.
that. We got like a short term memory, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently you had Kasim Reeves with the people, with the residents of People Town. See how he did them with the eminent domain, saying that that pipe was messed up and they lost their homes. These people been on their homes over 20, 30 years, and they pushed them out. So I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
we're so quick to believe these elected officials, you know, without anything in writing. I don't know what that is,
Right.
why we stuck on that, but
Well, I can say this, brother Lee, is I think we're stuck because we was kids when it was actually happening. We didn't have education in place to teach us about these games that politicians are playing on us. See, they played these same games on our parents. So when East Lake Meadows and Perry Home and all them was, you know, being tore down and all of that, I was a child. So they
even our
did it
parents believe that though. Not saying,
exactly.
you know, all our parents, but majority of the people, the elder people who believe this stuff.
Right.
I was talking to a lady today, she in her 60s, and she was like, well, I heard from a resident. She said she know a resident that live out there, and the resident told her, and even this resident, they both up in age, and were like, everybody is not gonna get housing. The people who got bad records and who are problems, who've been a problem in apartments, they are not going to get housing. And my question was, what deemed them a problem?
Mm.
What you mean they're a problem? You know, if they were that bad of a problem, they would be what, arrested, or you know what I'm saying? What
Right.
you trying to say? You trying to use tactics because you know you don't have enough housing for all of them, and then what they're gonna do is what we really don't know what they're gonna do. But in my mind, I'm saying they're
Exactly.
trying to stick the elderly people in the high rise or something.
And some, well, from some research and me doing some interviewing with some people around in my neighborhood, it's a lot of elderly people saying they don't, they want to go to high rise.
They want to be a high rise. I mean,
Yeah,
it's so much about a living situation, especially when you've been dealing with that for what, 5 years or more.
yeah,
In a condemned unit, condemned apartment. So yeah, I mean that's a big step up.
yeah.
You know, for them. Um, so we got the like I said, we got the petition going. We got that petition going. The next step will be Monday going down to City Hall, requesting, to see the mayor. If the mayor is not there, go to his office and request something in writing about emergency housing. What is available, and to see what the progress report is, not the shuckle and jiving or well, we working on it and all this kind of talk.
Yeah, because that's what they gonna give you.
That's what they always give. That shuckle and jive routine. But I want something in writing. If the mayor there, yeah, I want to sit down with him and talk with him. I know he got this thing where he say you have to request, put your request in early to see him, and you get 5 minutes with the mayor and all this kind of promotional crap that he was talking about when he first got in office. But I really want to sit down and get something in writing, get a clear view, and we have to talk with Atlanta Housing. We have to talk with Atlanta Housing.
And that's I was about to get ready to point that out. That instead of us going to the mayor, we need to be going to HUD and these federal funds, because this place is funded by federal government.
But all of them are equally responsible. The city of Atlanta got a big stake in it, in what goes on this in the city limits. And he's the chief advisor, the mayor, and also the city council member. That's their job. That's what our tax dollars pay them for. Mm-hmm. They have great powers. Of course, we need to go to Atlanta Housing too. So on Monday we can go down here to City Hall, and so another day, we can go to Atlanta Housing. Because trying to call them and stuff, it's hell to get through, and nobody really talk.
Straight roadblocks.
I wonder, are they even open to the public? Do you know if they're open to the public?
I'm not sure, but we're going to find out on Monday.
Yeah, we'll find out. That'll be a call that we'll make.
Yeah, because if they so what I did find out, Brother Lee, is people who do own their homes here in Thomasville, who may want to use their house as a Section 8, the federal people are actually giving them hell to approve their homes for these people to even come to live in. But you telling me that these apartments was okay to live in when they are condemned?
So you telling me that you know of people who have houses who are trying to convert them just into Section 8 homes?
Yes.
And you saying that the Atlanta Housing Authority won't allow that, or the HUD won't allow that?
They're not allowing it, but they are giving them a hard time.
Saying that they're
yeah, by saying they're not up to code and this, that, and the third. But when you go to those apartments, how did they get approved?
And there you go.
When that is condemned.
Yeah, when they condemn. Yeah, and that's another thing that fall on the city of Atlanta. Even when Atlanta City Code Enforcement labeled them condemned, they still
automatically should have been a done deal.
Should have been shut down. You get a grace period, and then Atlanta Housing supposed to step in and said, because these places are condemned, we're going to relocate you with emergency housing. But the biggest problem is this going on everywhere though. It's all over Atlanta. It's not just Forest Cove.
You're right.
So you got Darren Village, just to name, another apartment complex.
Yes.
And, to Kelly. I mean, you got so many different apartment complexes around the metro Atlanta area or the low income side, I'm gonna say the low income side of Atlanta, that they sweeping it all up on the road. So we're gonna have to start calling these elected officials out too, because they play a big part in that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they play a big part. So yeah, like I said, Monday I want to see what they say. I want to go down there to City Hall and see what's going on with them. And they got a public safety meeting. You know, that's a public safety issue. You,
Yes.
yeah, being homeless, being dealing with that, because even with the homelessness, when somebody that desperate, you got them on the street, it causes a crime. These people got to eat. And then when you depressed and hungry and poor, you know what I'm saying? What's the next alternative?
Right.
But crime. You got to
Nothing but
rob,
crime.
kill, do what you got to do.
Right.
And this it's a public safety issue. So I do want to go down there Monday too and speak to the public safety board and make that case on that with the crime rate and why it's going up, why it is what it is, and how we are neglecting that, as well as the other issue we've been talking about with the child neglect laws. I want to get on that too.
Yes.
With the homeless youth being arrested, juvenile, set to juvenile for being out past curfew. That's another issue that we got to deal with.
Yeah, if they had programs for these kids and quit closing all these schools and their gyms and their recreation centers, maybe we wouldn't have so much.
And we got funding for that. That's the crazy part. Atlanta Police Department get funding for youth programs.
Hmm.
You got a West Side Fund. They got different programs that supposed to go to kids. And I haven't seen how it been used towards the children yet, especially on the outside of town.
Yeah, because they closing everything on my side.
Yeah, yeah. Man, it's crazy though. So yeah, you did sign a petition, right?
Yes.
You signed a petition. Okay. It's so tell me what you say you attended the last meeting they had over there. What Tommyfield Heights community, right?
Yeah, so they had a stirring committee. They just started a stirring committee last week. I went last Monday, I believe. Last
That
Monday
was
or
those, that,
Tuesday.
that was the new people, the ones when I went to the meeting. That's who you talking about. Those people.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yes. And yeah, they're trying to come up with a committee for this neighborhood so we can give them ideas of some of the things that we want to see to come into this neighborhood that they can help us with. But what I came up with today, we're talking with some because Thomasville already have a lead that is inside of Thomasville already. And talking
Okay.
to some of those members, they're gonna propose something else coming to the next meeting for these people, these investors that want to come into our community and think they just want to take over.
So now you a part of committee too, right?
So I'm a part of the Thomasville Heights Civic League.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, Thomasville Heights has a civic league, and these people are people who have been here since this community was built in 1960.
Wow. Wow. And their voices are not being heard or haven't been heard.
Well, lately, no, they haven't been heard. So yeah, they about to step it up and have to hear about these people. These people saying, "Nah, y'all not finna just come in here and just take over."
Now that's who I want to join in with. I want to help y'all with that. And be of assistance in a way I can, and for me onto unity in a way, saying that we can be of assistance. It's that time,
It is.
and whatever.
Since we're prime real estate, yeah, we're gonna use that for our advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all want our land, and yeah, we gonna need them funds. We need funds over here, so let's get it.
They it's like they're taking the land
Yes.
without, what I'm saying, any kind of respect for the natives.
Yeah.
The residents who've been over there for years, like you said, since the 60s.
Since the 60s.
It's crazy. That is crazy. So they've been there since white flight, and then they ain't get no respect. And now all you getting is lies.
That's it. In the meeting last week, that's they came in before with a proposal for this neighborhood before a long time ago, and some of the residents that have been here before said exactly what you just saying. They came in, they said they gonna give us this, that, and the third, and they never seen anything, nothing.
Nothing. Just empty promises. I remember when this was recently when the residents, the senior citizens over on ML King, when they was having discussion about what they're gonna do with the corridor. When they was putting the mediums all in the middle of the street and how it was affecting the residents over there, and it was messing up the flow of traffic. They had like 4 people that died in ambulances because they couldn't get through the traffic because the medium was quiet. And they had been talking back and forth with Keisha Land Bottoms and City Hall. I'm talking about before I even got involved, like a good 6 months. And then when I finally get involved, when I got wind of it, I started there with meeting over there at the CT Martin Recreation Center. So I started going over there. Them people kept sending different people every time. Every time they would have a meeting, so they meet once or twice a month, they'll send a whole new person to lead the meeting. And every time that person claimed they don't know what happened at the last meeting. So every time Andrea Boone, she stopped even coming. She stopped coming before I even came, before I even joined in on it. And every time they would just send a new person said, well, just write down your ideas. I'm talking every time they said it was the same routine, just a different phase. Just write down your ideas and I'll send it up to the top.
Wow.
It's that shuckle and jive routine. Nobody be looking at for like, are we really that naive to trust these people like this? After no results, years and years of no results. I'm like, man, this sick. It's really sick. But what do you think? Do you think that we're on the right path with the strategies that we're coming with?
I think we are on the right path with the strategies, but are we going to continue to go with them? The thing is, you know, we start off really, really strong, but we end up with probably 2 people end up fighting in the end.
We don't be consistent. Yeah, people drop out. Yeah, and their consistency is hard to keep, especially with limited resources.
So just like
that consistency is hard to keep up.
Just like with Forest Code, you got maybe 1 or 2 spokespeople that actually, come out to every meeting that's speaking up. But where's all them 800 some people that you are unity? Why are these people not showing out in numbers?
There you go. I
don't stay in Forest Code, but I show up every time they mention their name. So it's like, where y'all at?
I don't know why people keep calling me. See, I'm declining the call. But that's the hard part, though, sister. Getting the community and the public engagement to come out for some other than just election day. You see what I'm saying? That's the hard part. And I think that I take responsibility to a point to say I really do need to get more involved and back into the streets. Really got to get the canvassing. I know I'm just one person, but I'm saying we got to get the canvassing up with the few that we do have.
Yes, we do.
And that's the reason why we even got the live stream, so we can have these, live stream conversations and stuff to let the people know, for those who have an ear to hear. Just got to keep pushing. Well, sister, thank you so much for joining. Is anything else you think we need to cover?
Yes. Election is coming up, and this is the big election that the news would not put on the TV. We only come out when it's time to vote for the president.
Now we got judges that's coming up. The magistrate judge, I keep saying that, I keep talking about Cassandra Kirk. Cassandra Kirk is the chief magistrate judge, Fulton County, and she's running unopposed, meaning that she has no running mate, no candidate is running against her. She's the only candidate for that seat. So this is why we get lack response, because she knows she just gonna walk back into the seat.
Right. Everybody gonna see that it's just her, and they gonna mark the box.
It's just her, and we also have Nakima Williams, in the 5th congressional district seat, which was formerly John Lewis's seat, which is our congressperson in Atlanta. She's I don't know who's running against her. I need to follow that to see who's running against her, but I know she got strong pulling. People are very happy with her. People have really not really been paying attention to the fact that she has done absolutely nothing for us, especially for dealing with evictions. She has done nothing, especially dealing with our youth, the homeless problem we have. She has made no steps toward that, no effort towards that. I have reached out to her office. I may out of 10 times reached out to her office. I may have got someone one time, and the sister that I got didn't know anything about anything. I mean, I was schooling her stuff. She would like I'm teaching her something. She like, for real? That's what's going on? That's a boy for that?
But how do you work with these people who don't know what's going on?
They be hiring their friends, sorority sisters and fraternity brothers or some kind. You know what I'm saying? They keep it in the clique.
So you got people like you and me inside of an office that a lot of crooked stuff is going on, and you telling me y'all don't see any of this stuff that's happening to your own people?
Well, they're part of it. It ain't they don't see it. It's the fact that they're part of it.
Wow.
That's what they're there for, to cover it up. You know what I'm saying? That's the shuck of the giant routine. Well, we're getting on it. And did you sign up to vote? That's what their job is, to distract us from what's really going on. So who else we got? I know we covered the congressional seat for the Atlanta resident. We covered the magistrate judge that's over the evictions and the tenants, the landlord and tenants.
Now I think the governor should be coming up.
Governor coming up. Yeah, with Stacey and Kemp and Perdue.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that coming up. Yeah, that election. Those seats.
We got to move those seats, people. We got to rotate this thing so we can get some things popping.
But who we moving it to, and what are we getting? That's what I'm saying. Because everybody's talking. Stacey.
That's the thing. Don't nobody know what the hell we getting, because every time we put something out, at least when we think we put something out there, they end up giving it back to us and throwing us off, and we be distracted on some other bullshit to where we don't get anything done. Nothing has gotten done in the Black community at all.
That's the only reason why I accepted recently. I told you I accepted that. What was that over District 12 for the Democratic Party?
Oh yeah. You did say something about you some kind of something that you said that you became, right?
Yeah, for the Democratic Party. My thing was I want to sit with the candidates. When I realized that they weren't going to make a way for me to sit with the candidates and talk with the candidates, they just wanted me to go out and put on door hangers.
Oh wow!
And just get votes for the Democratic Party.
Oh wow!
I fell back.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, nah, that ain't what I'm about. Everything I do is about the uplifting us as a people, especially Atlanta residents.
And we can get into another conversation on this live about, on another day. But that Democratic Party, we might need to look it up and see if that's what we're really about.
We shouldn't be about no Democrat, no Republican, none of that.
Now. Come on
we
now.
Should be to the point of we as Black people, this is what we need. You come to our door. Yes. You tell us that you're going to do this. And we're going to say whoever give us the most, that's where our vote is going.
That's where we going. Yes.
So, but
I don't even see how we end up in a party. We shouldn't be in either party.
I see how we end up in a party doing the history on it, because that came in the Reconstruction period after slavery. And then at that time, Black people, when we first got the right to vote, it was in the 1870s. Men got the right to vote. Women still had the right to vote, but that was the Republican Party, and they was letting Black men vote and become politicians. So they were ex-slaves. So they went from ex-slaves 1 year to the next year being not only the right to vote, but actually be politicians. So you had a whole slew during the Reconstruction period of just Black men being senators and mayors and aldermen and all kind of political positions. But still, the Black women didn't have the right to vote.
Right.
The Black woman was still getting played. And in my mind, I know this overwhelming, and we took it as a stepping stone, like a step up. We didn't see the strategy. Right. We didn't see how they were playing us against each other.
Yep.
We took it as, and this is accounts that when they had, if you read the Library of Congress, they got these books, these memoirs of old politicians and ex-slaves, and it talked about how they viewed that. How they viewed when they allowed men to vote, they was going to use that to step up but they didn't know what was coming. They didn't know they were just pacifying them till they get back stronger, and then they eventually end up wiping out like 90% of murdering 90% of
Yep.
those men who were politicians. So that's how we got into that politics, that Democratic Party and that Republican Party crap. You know, we felt like we want, you know, we always do that get along stuff.
True.
We gonna change stuff from the inside. You know, I want to become a politician because I want to change the laws and how government work. You know, now understand that the system is bigger than one person, bigger than a race.
Yes.
It's the system. You know,
It's
it's
the
designed
whole
by
system.
different races.
Yes.
And we in capitalism. You
Mm.
know, so we fight better from the outside than we do the inside. That's always been, you know what I'm saying, a policy that I got from the foot soldiers, the elders who been doing activism, like when I was growing up, the real folks out there, you know, who Jose,
Yeah. Yes.
you know, they was like, that's why they called the foot soldiers. A lot of them, you didn't even know their name.
Nope.
But they were the one that were really doing the fighting and holding us down, like through the crack pandemic and fight flight and all that kind of crap, redlining. So
yes,
it's ugly, man. It's so ugly to see.
is.
It's getting worse for us, and I don't think that we fully see how bad it's getting.
No, we don't.
In every area, it's getting worse. So us being out here on the ground fighting for stuff like evicts. I mean, because we have people who, that's just like we were marching with the House of Justice League. We had guys and stuff out there on the sideline talking about that ain't no worth nothing. Y'all wasting y'all time, you know, just saying little stupid stuff instead of joining in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I heard one guy say, I got housing, I got me somewhere to stay. I need to get y'all somewhere to stay. You know, it's that ignorance that I be looking at like, man, we just got to keep the fight going. You know what I'm saying? It can't. That's why I say I don't worry about cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that I just keep it as a personal understand. Like, do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a small phrase. You know, coming from Spike Lee. Do the right thing. But that's a hard thing to do. Yeah,
And
do
the
the right
right
thing.
thing. It's a lot of housing out here, but if y'all keep raising the price, the person who made that statement, you're not gonna be able to afford to stay in that house.
I just put that what I'm telling. I don't know if you seen on our WhatsApp chat page. I just was showing y'all that I submitted a complaint to HUD federal office in Washington about that, about how they're allowing them to use opportunity zones. So you know we got opportunity zone areas.
Mm-hmm.
And in opportunity zone area, there are low income areas, and it's based off the fact that it's a low income area. So they give the landlords and the apartment owners, they give them tax breaks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to pay taxes again. Not only they get them tax break incentive like extra money, but they don't have to pay taxes until 2026. So now you see all the apartment around here, they use their extra money, they fixing up the outside of the apartment, but they ain't fixing the insides of the apartment. And they raising the rent. They making it look more attractive on the outside, but it's still the same problems on the inside. And then they raising up the rent and pricing out the low income. And they only able to do that because of the opportunity zone program. So I asked HUD through I filled the form, my complaint form. I said, how is that legal? So I'm waiting on them to call me back, but they may call me back, you know, probably 5 or 6 business days.
Right.
But I'm waiting for somebody to call me back and to explain how is that legal. You know, so and then once I know they can't explain it, but whatever they say off of that, I want to get somebody, you know, it's on the legal tip to do that Title VI. Was that discrimination?
Because there's definitely something else going on besides what we see and what we hearing.
Yeah. It's a lot going on, but it ain't so much. It's something that we don't see. It's the fact of we see that it's an injustice, but the legal side of it,
right?
Like I was saying, like if you got something called opportunity zones that benefit the land, not the landowner, but the landlords and the apartment owners, based on the fact that the tenants, majority of the tenants are low income, and the area is deemed a low income to a medium income area, then how can you use that against the tenants and the residents?
Right. Come on now.
How could that be legal? Like where is the clause in it? You know, where is the protection for the low income? You can't say, well, hey, I'm gonna get. That's just like you take what they've been doing this for years, though. I don't know
Yes,
why.
they have. Yes, they have.
I was talking about with the community development block grant money. You know, we've been getting that since what 1974, and that money been coming down to states and cities in low income area, but you don't see nothing improve. You just keep seeing it get worse, and they just keep getting more and more funded because it's getting worse. So that's the game they've been playing. So yeah, I had to reframe on that, you know. But yeah, yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. But we just got to keep the fight going, you know, and just do our part. You know, I was talking with little Cuzzo Nico the other day, and that's what I was saying. I was like, man, look, basically, it's just at this point, and at any point when you know, human, you have to understand that everything out of yourself you can't do by yourself.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything work on degrees. Like it first start with you, then it start with your household.
Yep.
Then you might go out to your neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? Then you go out to your racial group.
Yep.
Those different degrees and stuff that we are responsible for. But the only thing that we can really control 100% is us.
That's true.
Everything outside of that, the other degree, us as an individual cannot make no change. It takes all of us, whoever on that degree, who have involved in that, to make the changes. So our responsibility is just say, hey, I'm just taking responsibility for my role in this. I'm in this community. I'm gonna take responsibility for what I can do. I'm in this household. I'm gonna take responsibility for what I can do in the household. I'm a black person. I'm taking my responsibility for what I can do or what I owe to the black race. I ain't gonna be able to do everything. It ain't nowhere possible.
Right.
I ain't gonna be able to change nothing by myself. I just ain't that powerful, and I wasn't meant to be that powerful. You know, it's majority.
Where the power come in, where when you know your part and you start to do it, and somebody else know their part and they start to do it, and we join together.
The numbers.
Join it together. That's the power.
And you see it be more and more powerful. That's what they say, 2 heads are better than 1. Yes. So you see the more people you get together, the stronger it becomes.
Come on. In the history books, we saw it. You know, they would name a few, you know, heroes that was helping us, but the people behind them. Did you see the mass people behind them?
There you go. That's what I said about the foot soldiers. Everybody talk about Dr. King and all them. Think about them foot soldiers. You talk about Malcolm X, but think about
all the normal people that just walked with them and said, "Hey, we fighting with you."
There you go.
We need those people to come on out. We need y'all to step on out with us and come to these meetings. These meetings are open meetings.
Come to your community meeting, and if you can't come to the meeting, you can watch it online. If you gotta work while the meeting going on, that like a lot of time be busy. But I stop what I'm doing, and I say, well,
take a listen.
Let me check out at least 20 minutes of the meeting, and I come and get another 20 minutes later, just to see what's going on in our community, in our neighborhood, or around Atlanta. Let me just say a brush on what these new ordinances are, these new laws they're trying to pass.
Yes,
Let me get this federal funding. Let me see who this local fund, how our sales tax dollars being spent.
That's all I want to know. By me being I wasn't taught in school about home ownership and all. I just now learned this when I bought a home, you know, for the first time. And now that I done bought a home, like, oh, okay, I'm living this American dream. But just like that, they can come and just raise those taxes, and your little American dream is gone.
Raising the taxes. What are benefits coming from raising taxes? Why are we paying more taxes in low income area of parts of Fulton County?
Come on, man.
Wealthy sides over in Alpharetta and all that. Why we paying? And why is Alpharetta and Sandy Springs inside or considered in our area medium income? The income that says how much the rent can be, how much you can charge for building rent, how much you can charge for housing rent. True. They got the area medium set at. They say the average person in Atlanta, even on the west side, they say the average person make $86,000 a year.
No, I don't see that.
That's what they got. That's how they got it set, because they got Sandy Spring and brother CP, brother Cole, when he put me on to that. He said, bro, you know why it's so high around here? He said, check the area medium. He said they got Sandy Springs in there. I'm sitting here reading the crap and I ain't even paying attention to that. I don't know how many times I looked it up and shared that about what the area medium is and why it's so, and that is the fact that it's high. But right above that in small print, it says Atlanta area and Alpharetta and Sandy Spring. That's what it say on there in small print. They add them in with us. So a person from District 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and District 1, which is majority low income, is put in the same pot, the same financial pot, economic pot with a person from Alpharetta and Sandy Spring. Knowing that it's a big wealth gap in between us. So they say we made 86. That was the average of $86,000 a year. So when they say affordable housing, they basing it off of that data.
For 86,000 a year.
After the average person making $86,000 a year. That's the data that they're basing it off of. So we got to go to the census board and have them to change that. That's a whole nother fight. That might take them to the federal level.
Right.
With the federal census board. Because when I tried to reach out to the Atlanta census board, them folk, man, they were glad they got to hang up on me. You know what I'm saying? With that, you know, like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
what he talk when you come with some common sense, they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, sir. Let me put you on hold right quick, sir. Sir, sir, hold on. We're finna transfer your call. Next time I know I hear that the doctor down talk got done. Them folk like this.
Yeah, glad you know too much. You know too much.
They was glad to hang up. And I said, well, oh, okay, you make a good point. But let me transfer you to somebody who can better assist you. Yeah, the dial tone. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. It's a bigger fight, and to have enough of us. I mean, and you know what? We ain't got many right now. You know, especially us for me on units. You know, we blessed now that we get more people that's coming along in the fold. But you know, we ain't got a lot of fighters. You know what I'm saying on that.
We got people, but everybody trying to do their own things and on their own little, you know, little companies that helps the community. When we need to join all of them as one, write down the proposal, what we're looking for, what we want, the neighborhoods that these people are coming into, these investors are coming into. Those neighborhoods need to already have a purpose on when these people come into your neighborhood. Let them know what you want.
I already have it. And let you know, if you don't support this, we won't be voting for y'all. Let the Democratic Party know that.
Yes.
We're not supporting the Democratic Party no more until our demands start getting met.
That's it.
We ain't supporting the Republican Party, the Democrat. We ain't supporting none. We gonna register to vote, but we ain't voting for no one unless our demands get met.
And that's something for real. Yeah. we don't need to do none of that. We need to just stop all of it. We want to stop some things and start making a change. We're gonna have to start making action speak.
Gotta boycott.
Louder than those words.
Yeah.
The action needs to be louder on our end.
Yeah. True. 100%. 100%. True. Well, so we got our work cut out as always. Like I said, I'm thankful though. We got some new members to it from Meonta Unity. We got Farmer P back.
Yes, he told me. Good.
Yeah, which is a blessing. Yeah, the brother came back in the fall with us for the fight. We got the new brother Eric. You know, I told you I just met him on the bus about 2 weeks ago. And he into child psychology and stuff like that, which is much needed. You know, it's a real faith walk. You know, it's a real faith walk. You know, you just got to step out and trust the higher power. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, he'll provide the things we need.
And he will. And he does happen.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
And we're not gonna just do it for one community. We're doing it for all communities. Yeah. Whatever we putting down on this paperwork, and we going before, because like you said, this is not just going to the mayor, it's going to the White House. We are putting this on paper for all communities that's being affected.
It's a blueprint. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're fighting for.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. So yeah, I think we covered all the bases, Chuck, and get off here. 'Cause, you know, I got a busy day today for the rest of the day. Uh, but I thank you so much, sister, for taking time out. I know you work hard. I know you had to go to work today too. Then
Yeah, I'm finna get after this call. I'm about to head out again.
had to head. I know it is hell. You
Yes,
see what I'm saying? We look you personal life and community life and all.
yes,
Man,
yes.
it's hell. That's why we need them numbers. You know, we can split the work up. You know what I'm saying? But all right, sister, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for that knowledge. We're gonna do this again. Hopefully, we'll have better progress and more people with us.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you so much. You have a great day.
All right, you do the same. Have a blessed day.
All right, sister.